here after the loss to Hawthorn. I think we lost by like 20 points, something like that. We're going to go through some of the stats. We're going to go through it all. And yeah, I'll open the fan cams up as well. But first, let's start with some general chats about players. Now, I'm going to start with just sharing some things with you guys. And we will kind of chat over some players that stood out to me, some for positive reasons, some for not so positive reasons. Now, let's just check that's all looking good. That'll do for now. So we're going to start off with just Saints. We're going to go with disposals. Naz had a massive night, 43 disposals, 1,010 metres gained, 1 goal assist. Only the 3 behind, unfortunately. If you got 3 goals, that might have been enough for us to get the needle moving in our direction. Another massive game for Max Hall, quickly becoming one of our more important players. Windhager, too, played quite a good game. I think we can all give a reasonable round of applause to Steele, McRae, Sinclair, and Roland Marshall. Now, I want to start getting to some of the players that frustrated me. The first one off the ranks is Hunter Clark. Now, Hunter didn't play the worst game of his life, but he didn't play a good game. Now, if we look at frees against, Hunter had 6 frees against. They were all in the first half, and it just wasn't good enough. Now, if we go back to the basics again, keep going down the list. Garcia was all right. Could have done better, but 8 clearances was, good. That's things we want to see consistently from Garcia. Not the most accurate kicks going forward from him, but he was certainly not alone in that regard. So I don't think we can really be too upset there. Hasty was pretty frustrating in that first quarter. 3 turnovers from his 4 kicks. 2 of them resulted directly in goals. Yeah, it was just very frustrating. He came into the game a bit later. From memory, he didn't have that many more turnovers. I will double check. But yeah, he had 2 more turnovers for the rest of the match. So could have done better, but not the worst either. Toru, pretty good game. Really wish he kicked that goal. Amazing mark. Some really strong tackles. I think we all need to just check ourselves with Bradley Hill tonight. Was the reason he is an AFL footballer. His kicks were really good. He hit the targets, I think, almost 100% of the time. I'd have to go back and check. But, yeah, he looked very good tonight. Wilson could have done more. 11 disposals isn't really enough from somebody we want on the outside, and getting it inside. Also didn't use the ball particularly well. Butler, not terrible disposals-wise, didn't really get on the board. Also didn't use it particularly well. Mitch was one that had a few real frustrating moments, had some good moments as well, and I think that's what I've come to expect, at least me. I've come to expect that from him a fair bit. And then a few other names here that we'll come back to in a second. Just want to say thanks, Devos, for coming past. Good effort from the boys. Yeah, definitely not a bad one. And will fix itself if we don't consistently go at 55%. And you are right in that regard. And we'll quickly finish off the players before going on to the team stats. Wilkie could have done better. Not his best night. I would say that Gunson probably got on top of him. Sharman also didn't have a great night. Could have done better. Didn't do his worst. Higgins, just if he just nailed those shots, one of those other players that really could have helped us stay in this game. Liam Henry didn't do very much tonight. Caminiti probably, like Wilkie, could have done a bit more, but basically did his job. Webster got hurt, so you can't say too much there. And Keeler just didn't do enough at all. So yeah, there's some frustrations here. We're going to go over the base level disposals, base level team stats. Disposals were in our favour. Kicks we just lost, so we led most of this for the night. Inside 50s, we dominated, and it's very frustrating to see how little that translated. I'll quickly pull up a stat here that I noted. Give me 1 second. Going into the fourth, our goal per inside 50 rate was 16%. I think it's probably much lower than that. Come end of the match, free kicks. Look, like I said about that, the better. That was doing my head in, but that's unfortunately a bit of life. Hit outs were just, we did all right in terms of actually getting the clearances. We won both the stoppage and centre clearance. We didn't start great with centre clearances, but neither did the Hawks. It was 1-1 at quarter time, and yeah, we were down in stoppages fairly significantly, but we brought that back. That was fairly good in terms of possession. We held possession more. We did turn it over a little bit, but I mean, the numbers would suggest it was a pretty reasonable result compared to what we'd normally do with these sort of levels of possession. Another frustration comes down to overall time in possession. Yes, we were about 6% down, but in the final quarter, we basically leveled it out, and in the final 10 minutes, we were ahead. So it's kind of one of those frustrating ones. We just didn't take advantage of our opportunities and gave the Hawks too many. Didn't take enough marks, down on our average, and let Hawks kind of get all over us there. In fact, if I quickly pull up the halftime results, we were on 1 mark inside 50 and 1 contested mark. So we did all right in the second half there to get those back. Hawks were on 7 marks inside 50 and 9 contested marks at halftime. So, I mean, we didn't do terribly. And, tackles wise would show we did reasonably well. 1%ers too. We did reasonably well. Bounces, we had a lot of free time to move the footy, but we didn't use it well. Like we consistently screwed up our inside 50s. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I'm gonna check the link in chat. If anybody wants to come in and put their 2 cents in, feel free. Let's have a quick look here. Disappointed with Kilda. Yeah, I mean, he just couldn't get near it. When we look at the opposition quickly, let's quickly go back to player stats. Hawks, Josh Battle. I mean, as much as I detest the bloke, he played well, and he was assisted pretty well with Jaff, CJ, Sicily played all right on his first match back. Tom Barras played all right as well. And I mean, if we look at the general marks, they all kind of dominated there. It's just we weren't in charge at all of how we wanted the game to go, despite having so much control of the footy in a lot of regards. And it's been a consistent problem for us. Meek was an issue, giving them first use at the bounce. Definitely. I mean, this is kind of one of Roma's long-term issues that kind of need to be fixed. He's had matches where he does really well in terms of actually getting us level and then, winning a lot of the ball. But yeah, tonight, 7 hit-outs to advantage, less than half of Meek. Hit-out win rate, quite low, clearly. Yeah, just not really going to get you first opportunity, as you've said. Windhager, yeah, look, that was such a frustrating moment. I started pulling out my hair, and then Windy pops back up and just snaps it. And I was like, oh, this has been our night. It's just we've butchered the ball inside 50, and when we get a goal, it's because we've done all the hard yards to get there, back it up, get a little bit free to get a snap off. I mean, that's what Max Hall did twice. It's it's how a lot of our goals came. There was a few marks in there and a few shots from marks, but it was a slog to get it there. And I can't tell you how frustrating it was. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just don't get it. Like, we consistently and look, entries inside 50 were pretty bad, like pretty bad. But I mean, well, no, don't enable dictation, whatever's going on there. Sorry, I pressed something on my computer, but the boys don't mark, like, they don't get a lot of contested marks, and it clearly takes a rocket at halftime to go, hey, why have we had one mark inside 50? Why is just there one contested mark for the match? This is ridiculous. And it's straight up not acceptable. And the tools aren't doing their job. If we're talking about roles and who's the tall, who's what, yeah, Owens at times is not doing anywhere near enough, in the sense of, like, he looks to be sluggish. He looks like he's put on too much weight too quickly. He doesn't look like he can turn particularly well. He just doesn't look quite as nimble as he did in his first year. And I honestly think it's because he's put on too much muscle, and we're asking him to play too big a role as a tall. Because, like, yes, he's slightly, well-sized for somebody of his stature and whatnot. But, I mean, I've stood next to Owens. He's not huge. And, like, I'm not huge. He wasn't significantly taller than me. So I don't understand why we're asking him to be in a million one-on-one contests offensively. He's just not that great. Like, I'm going to do a quick look up while we're discussing things. But, yeah, it boggles the mind why we play Owens in the role he does. Yeah. I remember the days when Marshall would own Meek at Freo. It's crazy how much he swung in his favour. You're right. Marshall was, a very good ruck a few years back. I don't know if we could really say that anymore. He's all right. Like, he's definitely not a bad ruckman, but Meek shouldn't. Like, Meek's not really, despite not being, he's not a bad ruckman in any way. But he's not really in the conversation for sort of top 5. And if people are putting him in that conversation, he's kind of on the edge of that. Not many people would have him near the pinnacle. And, like, yeah, it's one of those situations where I've for years said Marshall is on the edge of that sort of top 5 or so ruckman. When some have said, he should be getting all Australians. And I'm just never seeing the proper argument for it. When you compare him against other rucks, he's never quite been at the pinnacle. And now we're seeing people like Meek, who are younger, stronger, doing more around the ground. So, yeah, people are saying what TDK might cost us. It's been reported it's 1.7 million a year. It's also been reported by Caroline Wilson that, if we weren't paying people above the wages and contracts that we'd sign them to, that we'd only be on 85% of our total player payments. So, I think we need deconning. And if we are, up to 15 or so % down on where we should be, that's a couple million right there. We could give them a bonus. It might not be 1.7 mil a year. So, we don't know how these contracts are structured, but I really think we need TDK really bad. He hasn't looked amazing, don't get me wrong, but I think he's trying to protect himself, so he gets that bonus. Can somebody tell a player? Yeah, the free kicks were just, I don't know. They've been pretty shocking all year, and I don't want to suggest it's just us, but it's been pretty shocking all year. Hall was again unreal. Like, absolutely, he's been one of our diamonds in the rough. We found one last year, I reckon, in Garcia, and I mean he's gotten another 8 clearances tonight. Hall also is just looking amazing. Let's quickly check out his stats from tonight, and just double check what we've got. So we've got 27 disposals, 3 goals, 1. I mean, 587 meters gained. At one point, he was sitting there with Naz as like kind of halfway through the second quarter, third quarter at roughly similar meters gained. So, I mean, he didn't get as much in that sort of second half as he did in that first, but geez, or at least move it as much. But geez, he looks good. 5 clearances is just, I mean, it's good. And an interesting one, we saw Naz in the guts a little bit tonight, which, maybe explains those 43 disposals. But we need clearances. And, I mean, I'm happy to see him in there with Garcia continuing off his efforts last week. Let's quickly double-check the centre clearances. Garcia with 3, Naz with 2, Roma with 2, Liam Henry, interestingly, with 2. Double check if we've got... if I've got CBAs available or not. I don't think I will. No, I don't have CBAs yet. So, yeah, interesting sort of numbers there. Let's quickly get back to the chat. To be fair to Cooper, he gets sent on by best oppo defender all year due to the lack of king. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. But they certainly do not have contests forward of the ball to enable our smalls. Yeah, bang on. We're not getting enough spoils in front of the ground. And look, I don't know if any of you saw the off-season reviews we did last year, but I'm fixing all that up to add a bunch of new stats to it. But yeah, I mean, a quick look over that showed that we're kind of not achieving the spoils we need to give the ground ball opportunities to our small forwards. So yeah, bang on. Yeah. I mean, there are moments where it's like I said this to Jake. I've said this consistently. I think I want to see players in a position where I think they will be best long term and what might help us win the premiership eventually. And I can't see Owens as a second ruck to a premiership team. I just can't see it. I can't see any team that would do it, particularly when Kilda is available. So there's got to be some goddamn questions over the coaching staff because it's ridiculous, some of the decision making. Honestly, like I said this at the start of the year, if we are going to have issues with King, play a small forward. Like, stop going to so many one-on-one contests. Like, dribble balls. Like, get Collard back in the side. Like, we need people on the ground ball and just play the ground ball. If we can't mark it, why consistently try? Like, it's very clear we're not very good at it. So I just don't see why we consistently do stuff that doesn't seem to make sense. The only thing I can think, and Jake has mentioned this, is perhaps we are playing the style we want to play when King is available, to be there to take those sort of big grabs. But I mean, we're plunking it on the top of Owens and Sharman's heads half the time. Like, I can't remember who it was out of defense, but somebody just bombed it out of D50, and Sharman was in a one-on-one and had to start running back on the ball to try and contest. And eventually it went to another player there. But it's just beggars belief that the ability to hit a target's not there. 100% of TDK and be ruthless on getting value for Marshall in a trade to be a contender. I agree. I think it's like I would give maybe a year to like see if Marshall and TDK can work. But I mean, we've kind of seen it. It hasn't really worked anywhere. Like it didn't work with Grundy and Gawn. It hasn't worked with Darcy and Jackson. It kind of worked with Jackson and Yawn, but I mean, it's very few and far between. So I'd be tempted to just pull the trigger early as well. Yeah, the umpires were ridiculous. Direct goals from frees. There was somebody that was doing stats on that. I can't remember who it was, but they were on Reddit, and I'd love it if they came back and did it, because I just can't be bothered going back and checking frees, because I've already got enough footage to check. I can't be bothered with frees. The presser's on, or we might. So the presser's on now. We might come back to that. Yeah, Ethan, that's correct. I mean, yeah, Ethan, it's not 1.7 a year, but fair enough. He was useless on Friday because he's not going to get 1.7 million a year if he injures himself. So he ain't trying for you, bro. And the major problem you have at Carlton is Cripps, Curnow, Wiedering, all those boys have checked out as well, but they have to stay. So good luck. That's all I'm saying. I can't see Owens in any premiership team. I can see him as a reasonable midfielder that stays a bit of time forward. Essentially, if him and Pooh were to be consistently swapping, I could see a couple of goals out of them. I just think Owen's big problem is he needs to learn that set shot, because he gets opportunities. And we need him in the guts. Like we've mentioned what we need from centre clearances. Hugo was the most tonight again, and he's a second-year player. We need better results there. So Owens has to be in there. We need to see Pooh in there next year. I mean, we just need to do what everybody's been crying out to do. I think there's a level of collective consciousness that you either need to, accept is either correct, or at least pander to it and show the people that, hey, it's not going to work. Let's move on from that idea, right? Because there's going to be too many people like me who sit here going, I want to see Owens in the guts because I don't think he kicks very good at goal. And we need centre clearances. He can clearly burst away from most defenders. Let's see if he can do that from midfielders. Can he shake their tackles? Yeah, exactly right. TDK's put himself on ice to get a contract. He's not getting that contract if he hurts himself. He's just not going to try for Carlton for the rest of the year. It's just how it works. Yeah, look, Naz, Wilkie, Windy, Taru, Garcia, Sinks. I mean, yeah, they're you're kind of your base layer of good players for a flag. I definitely agree. There needs to be some superstars though, because as much as I love Naz and he has that superstar potential, he's kind of the only one. King has been out of the game for too long now to really judge what might happen in that regard. Pooh as well hasn't progressed at all this year, and that's his body letting him down a little bit. But hopefully we continue to see the sparks we saw a year ago. Other than that, Taru potentially, that highlight mark from Taru was great, and we need those sort of team lifting moments, and he is one of those people that can. Pooh is one of the people that can. Naz is one of the people that can. They're those people that could potentially be superstars. We just need to get them all on the park, get the games into them, get them connected, because, geez, that movement has been fucking horrible, absolutely horrible. Hasty's mark was great too. Hasty had some issues in that first quarter, but, I mean, he got better as the game went on, and I think, yeah, I mean, I think he's got a position there to make his own. He needs to work on one-on-one defending. He's gotten a little bit better than his first couple of games this year, but geez, there was some moments tonight where he just let them walk in goals against us. How telling is it that when Owens or Higgins take a mark inside 50, you're disappointed? Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. I just don't think right now, I don't know what's wrong with Higgins, Sharman, and Owens, but and even Wood, but something's wrong with all of them. Apologies, I've been sick. Yeah, something's wrong with all of them. Like I see Sharman a year ago, and I expect him to kick it from 50 pretty consistently, like 8, 9 times out of 10. Nowadays, I'm starting to notice he's not always hitting 50 meters properly, and sometimes he's spraying it. Like it's almost like he's been like back in the day, you'd say he's twisted an ankle or something, and he's getting injections, and he can't angle his foot correctly to actually kick it where he wants. That's kind of what I'm saying. With Wood, it feels like it's more a confidence thing. I mean, we saw him snapping 30 meters out directly in front the other week. Higo, there's something wrong there. Like his body has, like, there's a clear drop off in form. Like we can all see that first half of the year to the second half of the year. There's a clear drop off in form, and I think that's somewhat to do with injury. He doesn't look like he can kick at about 45 either anymore. 45, 50 seems to be about his limit, where he could pretty easily hit 50 about a year or two ago. So there's something wrong with all of them. And to be honest, it is because they are smaller blokes playing on big key backs, being asked to do jobs that are probably too much for them, to be honest. So, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because we're likely seeing marks further out than we'd want. We're having a lot of shots like beyond 30, which at that point you're kind of getting past the major point of likely kicking the goal versus not. And yeah, it's problems. But let's go to the next one. Hunter Clark. I'm going to be honest, Devos. I think God, he did my head in. Like he had 6 frees against, 1 turnover, and 10 disposals to halftime. 10 effective 10 effective disposals at halftime. Like if we want to talk about direct turnover goals, frees against goals, Hunter Clark was the problem. I'm going to be real here. Like the umpires weren't great, but God, just diving in on people's head when they're on the ground, giving away free kicks. Some of them are weak, don't get me wrong, but it's just stupid by him. And some of our major problems are that we just do stupid things. Like some of our kids, like that. I don't know if you remember Owens inside 50 in that last quarter. Like he managed to get the ball far side of the contest. Gets it, could have snapped it towards the top of the goal. Yeah, maybe that's not a great idea. But he sees somebody in front of him with a man on him, I might add. And it's 2, 3 meters, 5 maybe. And he goes to do a chip, a chipped kick. And he turns it over for one. But what makes you decide to do that? It's such a stupid thing to do. I at that point in the game, we were probably done. Don't get me wrong. We had next to no chance of winning. But that moment when I was like, all right, it's 100% game over. We can't win this. Because it's great to get the inside 50s for once. Because for weeks we were saying we need to do more at the contest and start evening them up or winning, and we started to do that over the last couple of weeks. We needed to bring back the actual tackling and contest, and again we started to do that over the last couple of weeks. We needed to get the ball inside 50, and again we started to do that over the last couple or this week. But God damn, it's just we can't we can't fix general level disposals. Our chains are so ineffective, and yeah, we're kind of stuck with the same. As much as we can fix the many problems, if we could just kick it better, we wouldn't need to fix so many things. Like, if we could be more efficient with our ball in hand and use of it, make smarter decisions, we don't need to have, we don't need to win all the little stats at that point. We need to keep our pressure on the opponent by being accurate and letting the scoreboard do the talking. Like, there's different things levers you can pull to put pressure on your opponent, and we never have the scoreboard lever because we essentially just aren't accurate enough to take advantage of the opportunities that we get. So, and we don't create enough opportunities because we aren't accurate enough with ball in hand. So it's very, very frustrating. Like, there's a level of like the basics aren't getting done, but there's a level of like you could fix a million different things if you can't get the basics. Like, there's why bother trying to fix all these other things? So it's frustrating. Hunter Clark has to go back to the VFL and bring in Boxall. I agree. I honestly don't see the point in Hunter. He's like Butler in a lot, and a few of our players are like this in a lot of ways. That when they're good, they're good, and it's great when they're good. But they are so inconsistently good that it isn't worth playing them. Like that's where we're at. Because, I mean, if we could have Butler's best every week and Hunter Clark's best every week, we would win. We would win significantly more games. It's just that simple. But because they don't, and because we don't have people consistently playing their very best, some of our older people are regressing a little bit. Kids aren't, coming on as quickly as we'd like to be, consistently moving upwards. So, I mean, there's a level of, if these people can't be their best 50% of the time, there's no point. There's just no point. So yeah, it's bloody annoying, but that's it. Yeah, I mean, Max, these are the questions fans ask, and like, they're right. There's a level of collective consciousness that needs to be like addressed. Like, all the things that we say as fans we want to see Heath being played, because he might not be a ruck that we use next year even, right? But if there's going to be a ruck merry-go-round at the end of this year, hey, if we play him for 4 games and a team sees something, they might give us a second that we don't have this year. Like, that's where we need to like just do these things. Like, there's a level of the year's done. Like, what are we playing for? Pats on the back? Like, what's the point? So, I mean, try the out, like, consistent run and gun game plan. Try different things. Yes, clearly certain things are working, right? Like, we are trying different things. We won inside 50s tonight. We've won clearances from center for the last 2 weeks. I think it's like some of them it's just like clearly they're tinkering in the background, but where are the obvious things that the fans have been asking for, right? That's one that is still frustrating me. Yeah, I mean, that's the system somewhat seems to be there. Somewhat, like, we have the ability to tinker. It's clearly working in some regards. Not entirely. I really think we're a real couple players short right now. Like, that key forward is just absolutely missing. We should have 2 of them. We're missing 2 of them. Because, like, as much as I like Owens and Sharman, neither of them are key forwards. Like, at best, they're third talls. So, like, we'd need King and Keeler, like, in my opinion, to like be somewhat competitive. And we'd need to move one of Sharman or Owens out of the forward line, because it would be too top heavy to play 2 key talls and 2 third talls. It'd just be too top heavy. So that's why I'm a huge believer of getting Owens out of the forward line at least while his goal kicking is just shocking, because we need help in the midfield. We're not going to be able to fit two third talls and two key talls, and it's pretty clear that one key tall and two thirds, like, it doesn't look like it's going to get it done. Like, King would have to be like on average 4-goal better, like a game sort of thing, than Keeler to make it work. And maybe he could be 2 to 3, pretty, like, from what I remember of King, but he's been out for nearly 2 years, so I just don't know, right? Like, and I don't know if it'll be enough. So I think, yeah, we got to move one of Sharman and Owens out to facilitate Keeler and King working in the future. And my brain says Owens is the obvious choice. Why aren't we trying him in the midfield? The system doesn't look terrible. Basics are getting slaughtered, and it doesn't look like we're trying enough of what the fans have been asking for. Hunter has hardly played for 3 years. That's why he's worth persisting with, in my view. The upside is there. I get the argument. I think Hunter's worth persisting with in the twos, and if he's better than like Boxall or the other guys consistently, then yeah, I mean, play him. Like, in terms of keeping selection integrity, he's a good player, but I don't think he's really shown enough at AFL level to just omit players that we want to develop. I mean, he's 27 this year from memory. Like, I think he's 26 at the moment. I have to check. Hunter Clark. But he is, how old is he? He's 26, March 1999. Okay, so he has passed his birthday. He's still kind of at the age of like, we should have seen more by now. And despite the fact that he's like had, very interrupted 3 or so years. Boxall should 100% be playing. I think we're all pretty much in agreement on that. If Naz does leave, it will be shambles, big time, such a key pillar for the future. I disagree. As much as I love Naz and think he is one of the best in the game, I just don't think the halfback flank is as important as it was a couple of years ago. Like, I think the onus these days to be a really good team is how you move the ball inside 50, which, we've seen, like, half of tonight has been discussing this, which means that not only do halfbacks not, like, they're no longer the most important. Yes, they have the most potential to move the ball longer, but they're not in charge of the most important point of ball movement. And I would say now that half-forward flanks and forward pockets are becoming more important to the kind of key deciding factors of games, I don't think you can have too many run-off halfbacks anymore. I think you can really only, like, kind of carry 2. If it was me and like, I was just picking the team every week, I'd have obviously Sinks and Naz, but I think we need Stocker as well as Liam O'Connell, and like, we've kind of done that a lot with Webster and Stocker, and Webster and Liam O'Connell, and vice versa throughout the year. But I just don't think you can run 3 running halfbacks and 1 kind of lockdown back pocket. I don't think it really works. In terms of Naz leaving, we would get a lot back from him, like an absurd amount back, and to the point in which it does beg the question if it would potentially be better having what we could get back from Naz over Naz. Like, it is a debatable question, in my opinion. As much as I love Naz, and it will, optics-wise, not look great, I don't know if it's actually terrible if he leaves. I'm not 100% sure. It'd come down to who we pick. Because I mean, if you think about and they mentioned this on the broadcast, if you think about the D's and what they wanted for Cozzy Pickett, which was 3 first-round picks, we would be asking for that. Like, we would straight be asking for that. There's somebody down here. No, Naz Butters would not be a good swap. We wouldn't take it. For one, Port can't get Naz. I'm going to put this out. Port can't get Naz. They need to trade for him, right? They can put whatever contract out in front of Naz. We can match that. Naz has to stay. There isn't a way around that. So no, Butters for Naz isn't a good swap. Butters wants to get back to Victoria by every report, and will either leave via free agency next year, or they move him this year and get more. That's kind of the option. So if they want to move Butters now, they're selling him at his highest price. If we wanted to move Naz now, which we don't, it would be for significantly more than Butters. Like, Butters is maybe worth 2 firsts. I get it. 2 and a bit, 2 and an extra player, something like that. Naz is worth 3 firsts and a bit. He's younger. Contract-wise is set up for longer than Butters. And yeah, Butters is a great player and potentially even better than Naz in a lot of ways. But just how contracts are set, we would be asking for more than what Butters would be asked for in Port's terms. Getting back to some other people, I can't see Sharman and Owens in the same team either in an ideal world. Not in the same forward line, not if we are going to play 2 proper key tools. I just can't see it working. I will check if somebody wants to come in, have a chat as well, because I've kind of just been chatting with the comments here. Feel free to jump in, have your say, that sort of thing. Could Owens play the wing? This kind of comes back to my point earlier. I think there's potential, but I'm worried about how quickly he's put on weight, because he doesn't look to be very limber anymore. As opposed to his first year, he looked like kind of a half forward. Right now, he looks like a third tall. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we could get him to work in the same vein as Wood, maybe. But I mean, Wood is a little bit of an outlier in terms of tall marking, running wings. There's not a lot of great ones out there. I'm going to remove this as well so we can have a bit more of a direct chat. Yeah. I think we're talking about Clark here. And yeah, I mean, agree to disagree. That's fine. I think I disagree with a lot of people. Clark's a contentious type. Some love him, some don't. I'm a bit ambivalent. I think he's a good player, but I just don't trust that I've seen enough from him. And I think I need to see a bit more before I'm willing to, kind of, be okay with him taking somebody's spot that might develop into a very good player. And that's kind of my little worry with him at the moment. Oh, no, that's not good. Can I switch out? Oh, no problem. All right, that's fine. Let's have a look. See if I've got the presser. So just having a quick look for Ross Lyons presser, see if it is out. But I'm assuming we might have to wait a little bit. Yeah, it looks like we have to wait a bit. All right. Well, yeah, Divas. It does look like we're starting to come to the end of this. If you do want to come in, say hello, ask any questions, feel free. I generally go for about an hour, so we'll probably stick around for another 15 or so either way. But we're starting to wrap things up. We've gone through most of the stats here. We've gone through some of the team stats, general chats. So, yeah, we're starting to wrap it. In terms of Steele and McRae, Hill, yeah, look, I don't think many of them will be there. I think you're right. If we are making talking about a deep run, look, I could see all of them there. I just don't think any of them. I don't think all of them would be in the first team. I think we'd have a little bit of at least one of them in the twos, like if not two of them. And right now, I'd probably lean a little bit more towards Hill and Steele being in the twos, but honestly, Hill played pretty well tonight, and I've probably, I mean, I've not been happy with his works this year. I've tried to not say too much about it because I think people really jump on Hilly for no reason. But yeah, he hasn't been great this year, and I think tonight was different. I think he was quite good tonight. Steele and McRae. The problem I find with Steele and McRae is, I mean, people have mentioned it. They don't seem to work together great. They haven't had a lot of opportunity. I mean, half a year is not a long sample size. But yeah, we haven't seen a ton of them working amazingly together. And they're both pretty old, right? Like, we talked about Garcia's 8 clearances, 3 from center. We've talked about the want to get Philippou and Owens in the guts. And I just don't think you can run McRae and Steele for too long, like too much longer, if we really want to be aiming for this core of kids coming through that are competent midfielders. We have to give them actual opportunities there. That's been the problem with Hunter Clark for the entirety of his career. I mean, we've said, yeah, his body's not up to it. He gets 60% time on ground across his career on average. And that's, that's because, yeah, we have X, Y, and Z reasons. We don't think he's healthy enough, whatever. He's not fit enough, whatever. But he hasn't had a lot of opportunities, and we need to give people opportunities so they can grow. And therefore, I don't think therefore, I don't think Steele and McRae can do too many more centre bounces together. I think this year, I mean, it's a wash anyway, so whatever in some regards. But I mean, I'd be spending the rest of the year figuring out how we can continue to win centre bounces, things like that going forward. Because I mean, hopefully this is a year of being bad and we can bounce, but we need people being healthy. We need to figure out some things that haven't been working. And we've got a couple of weeks to get that done. It's the prioritization of those two over people, say, as Boxall. We need to get Lecalier to release Toro into the forward line next year. Yeah, that could be an interesting idea. Lecalier supposedly is all but over the line. I don't know. I don't have particularly good ins at the club or anything like that, but from all the media talk and things that I see online, it seems like that's pretty close to getting done. 750 or something like that seems to be about what they're talking about. I mean, releasing Toru would be great, but yeah, looking at St Kilda do always prioritise senior players. Seb Ross was a prime example. Should be looking at Wilkie captain over the next year, so we're not hamstrung with Steele options. I would skip Wilkie if I could. As much as I love Wilkie, I wouldn't have him as a sole captain. I would be trying to pass the baton on to the kids as much as possible. I think back to a lot of teams that have done this in the past, and I mean, even St Kilda did it in the mid 2000s. Like we had a long core of Burke, of who else? Harvey. I mean, a bunch of older dudes that have been running our system since '97, and then into 2003, we were like, all right, Grant Thomas, maybe not the best idea to just rotate captains every year, but I mean, he was like, I'm giving it to the kids. It's time for the 23-year-olds to be in charge. Like the 30-year-olds aren't going to be here for another 5 years, and we're not going to be we're unlikely to be in grand finals in the next couple of years. So we need to make this transition happen as quickly as possible, and we'll give everybody as much opportunity as possible to see who works the best with it. And I'd go co-captains over rotating captains. But I would just give it straight to the kids, to be honest. Wilkie maybe in there as well. But yeah, if I were to say who I would give it to, as much as I'd love to give it to Mateus, this was really his year to make a claim for that. And unfortunately, he hasn't really been, he hasn't been healthy. In terms of who I'd give it to, there's a couple of players that are probably on the cusp of it. Pooh is one of them. Depending on what Naz wants to do, Naz is one of them. Depending on a couple of things, I think potentially Windy and Owens could be in that category. I think Owens less so than Windy, but yeah, I think those sort of three could be considered. If King hadn't been injured all year, he would be in that conversation as well. Yeah, it's unfortunate. If we hadn't had so many of the kids down this year, particularly Pooh, King, those sort of things, we might have kind of gotten a bit more of a solid idea. But I think King, Pooh, Naz would have been my kind of top three choices. Because I would have liked that midfielder role, forward role, and back. Like I would want a kind of person in charge of each position. Because I mean, we've kind of got that already. We've kind of got Windy in charge of the back line, and he'd continue to do that. But if we can have Naz in charge of movement out of the back line, then that's a great idea. Again, I think Pooh would have spent a lot more time in the midfield this year, which would have given him the ability to take charge over decision-making there. I mean, he bleeds heart and soul. You see it when he kicks a goal. He's one of those people that could lead by example. And likewise with King, if he hadn't been injured all year, he's one of the few that can take big clunks in the forward line, tell everybody to get the fuck out of his space, and have a one-on-one. Like, I'd love it. So it's unfortunate who was injured this year, because I think I would have given it to those three, and I wish Naz had signed on early to make these sort of decisions a bit easier. But yeah, I think maybe you give Wilkie 1 year while we're hoping that all these guys can get fit and sign on and show what they want to show for the year after. But yeah, it would be good, but unfortunately we haven't been dealt those cards. I think Windy should go into a vice captaincy role next year as a minimum. I think we should open up the vice captaincy as a minimum in terms of, maybe we do just give it to Wilkie, but then have Windy, Owens, maybe Naz, that sort of thing, as our co-captains, kind of head of the leadership group, that sort of thing. That's half the reason I'd want to do it, but it's also they are kind of those superstar players that change a game and drag others along with them. Nathan, I wouldn't say too much. Well, I won't say anything, but I don't think he's gone. I think there's just no way Naz is gone. Like, I explained it a second ago, but he can't leave. As much as he might want to leave, we can tell Port to fuck off. And Port can't do anything about it. Naz isn't a fully restricted free agent. He isn't a free agent. He's a restricted free agent. So, I mean, he can sign a 2-year and get out after that if he wants, but he's staying. Port don't have enough to give us what we want, so he's staying. And yeah, Naz won't break Mason's heart. But yeah, it's one of those ones. Like if Naz had been committed early, Pooh had a good year, King had a good year. I'd just hand it to those three. Considering they're not available and I haven't we haven't gotten the buy-in that we'd hoped from them. Be looking at Wilkie and a core of Windy, a couple others as the vice. In terms of, he's very close with his boys. But in terms of thoughts on TDK, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but TDK is going to be a massive improvement on Roman. As much as I love Rowan, he's not quite putting out the output we want. He's slightly down on form over his career. And we just wouldn't want that to trend for too long, because then we would be out of a good rucking. TDK, I don't think he's putting in any effort. I don't think he's put in any effort since he had a chat with Graham Wright about 4 weeks ago. I think he went to Graham Wright and said, look, how much more can I get? What's the final number I can get? What's going to happen in terms of change? Are there going to be people leaving the side? Am I going to be asked to play different roles, all these sort of things? I don't think that conversation went well. I don't think he was offered particularly much more money. I think he was told things that he didn't want to hear and has since decided, fuck this. I've been offered good money at St Kilda. St Kilda is playing just as shit, if not better. So I think he's firmly 2 feet out the door, if not being held on to by the shoulders. We do have a lot of upside. It hasn't hit this year properly, but we do have a lot of upside. In terms of clearances, they are on track. It'd be great if we got that ruck, as mentioned. I think TDK will be a huge improvement on Roma. I think we'll still lose a clearance or two here and there, don't get me wrong. But I think we'll win a fair bit more. This is one I've had a few thoughts on. I think it's one of those catch-22s where if we were Geelong, we'd be looked at as geniuses. If we're at the very top of the ladder, it'd be these guys. No wonder they're getting all the players in. No wonder TDK wants to go with them, and they've got money. Oh my god! If we were a good side, it would be a masterstroke, and the AFL would love it. Because we're not. It does raise a lot of questions. I mean, I don't think we're missing out on a ton, because I think these are AFL level players. I think they're generally gonna be more skilled than the vast majority of people, and I don't think an extra 6 hours a week is going to do a ton of difference. You got to think with our contact hours, a lot of them aren't footy. Like, you're not touching a footy. A lot of it's just going to the gym, like doing rehab, a bit of film review, that sort of thing. So, I mean, while we might be missing out a little bit, maybe they're missing 2 to 3 hours of football work. I just don't think it's doing a ton of difference. As much as, I don't love it that we're breaking the mold and, not particularly getting better results than anybody else. I also don't think it's changing a ton. I mean, this is kind of the case, unfortunately. And I think Carlton's got a lot of good players. I think their players are checked out. I don't think it's just a TDK thing. I think all of them are checked out. And I think it's I think it's all their superstars. And like, we won't talk about Carlton for too long, but I think Wiedering, Cripps, Kerno, all those guys feel the pressure of change and what it means for them. And I think they're rightly pissed off. I don't think they have many outlets for it, but I also think it means they just don't have the buy-in that is required. Yeah, and look, Carlton might be doing this as well, but we'll get past Carlton. It's easy to throw out the toys and the pram and be disappointed. There was so much right with our game, and that's correct. The Hawks are a good side, and as much as it sucks, we do need to keep the faith. Bang on. Bang on. The one thing I will say that annoyed me was that I felt like this game was more us giving a lot more opportunities than we should have to our opponent, mostly in the sense of like, God, like we didn't get. Let me check if that's up. Hang on. Just want to check if I've got advanced match stats. I don't. We just turned it over so goddamn much going inside. Like, it was absurd. And as much as it sucks, I actually don't think the Hawks. I think if we played like at all reasonably good, like the Hawks could not have beaten us. They didn't play very well. And they are a good side. So I think that's something to keep in mind. The Hawks didn't play great. Yes, they beat us by like 20 odd points. But we could have put them to the sword so easily. We just consistently let ourselves down. Yeah. What would improve our skill level or just timing? Good question. Skill level's a difficult one. There's some that think it's somewhat innate. I think there's an element of it being innate. I don't think it's unteachable though. So there'd be set ideas that I'd be trying to do, which we already do with a lot of our training. I think there's some issues that we have in being. I think we're really bad at picking out what the right option is, and I think that comes down to experience in some regards, changing game plans as well. But I think it really comes down to confidence in a lot of ways, and that's because a good player doesn't think through things too much. They just do. Like they innately know what is the best option for them and the team, and they don't worry too much about the outcome because they know what they're doing is right. I think there is an element of lack of confidence in our side where we look for the best option quite a bit as we don't trust that we can find it all the time. Now, part of that is, in my opinion, an issue with game plan because I think game plans should be simple, like very, very simple. And I think there should be some simple changes that you've like used to your game plan. So, I mean, I'd keep it kind of simple in terms of like, say, movement ideas. You basically want to consistently tell people to go 45s or straight lines in a lot of ways, right? Like that's how you ask people to move the ball directly to goal or 45-degree angles. So that's like kind of where I think we have a little bit of issues there, where I don't think we have it simple enough for the players to be confident in seeing the first thing they see and deciding, hey, that's the right decision. I can hit that. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to kick the pass. So I think there's an element of that. And yes, I think, there's a lot of parts. I mean, you've mentioned right here, our mids and general looks over it has been good over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I think there's a lot of things you can change. And game plans aren't simple, but it is about keeping them as simple as possible so that people don't get lost in all the options that can come about. Yeah, and this is kind of what I mean. It felt like we lost it off our own boot. Gave a lot of opportunities that we shouldn't have. That Marshall kick, just in the like a great defensive mark to immediately turn it over to the opponent and watch them kick a goal. I mean, it was just the classic of our night. The Doggies games are so demoralising because it's just a canyon of, but yeah, exactly right. And some people are going to hate me for saying this, but in some regards, this was the best outcome, and it's frustrating because, I mean, we saw what happened last year, and as much as Taru looks amazing and Travalia could be, whatever, we did move 2 slots down the draft order for one win. That wasn't, it was a good win. It was a culture type win, but at the end of the day, this might just be the best outcome. We don't know. Life, you don't know. Let's quickly get through some other questions here. Big picture, we can't afford to jump the Ds and the Dons in this draft with how compromised it is. Good losses are invaluable right now. Wow, that was timing on that. I didn't see that before going into my little diatribe before, but yeah, I agree. King completely changes our game. I know that it's easy to say too, but we have no key forward. We don't have a Jamie Elliott like Collingwood. King would help a lot, and I'd rather get him fit. Agree. I'd love to see King fit, and I think honestly, a year off, finally figuring out what's wrong. I mean, I'm just happy it's done. That's it. I just want him to be healthy, because if I'm honest, if it's another year of him being really unhealthy, like we're gonna have to start like considering what we do instead. So got to start seeing him turn that corner, and hopefully this is it. Hopefully they are correct in what they've found. Would love to get his brother in. I think that is one of the sort of dreams we could sell to some of the players out there. Come play with your brother. Come get St Kilda their second flag. How many times did you dream about it when you were 12, 13, 14? Let's get it done. Ben might, maybe. We'll see. Yeah. That was somewhat my argument last year. And I don't think it's particularly wrong. I think there's an element of, the kids need to be taught the right ways, but and yes, building culture is winning games and teaching the right things. But yeah, there's other parts of our games that are certainly not being taught. They're certainly not being taught the right things. So, yeah, could have been better in some regards. There would have loved to walk away with, like, if I'm 100% honest, would have loved to walk away with Langford and Taru, but Toby could be anything. He actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Goddard back in the day. Goddard was just a gangly little blondie redhead dude, and he finally filled into his body and good utility. What was he say? Was playing players that won't be here for the next flag and getting 3-4 more wings. I'd rather this approach where we play the kids and actually develop them. I completely agree. I think there was a few players last year that shot me to tears. Bonner was hated Bonner. I absolutely hated Bonner. Just that one game where he got like 1,000 meters gained and like 17 turnovers. Oh, I've never wanted like a new stat more than effective meters gained ever. Like ever. For our mental health, at least win one more game this season. Too many father, son, and academy picks. So pick 4 turns into pick 9 still stuff. Look, pick 4 may or may not become pick 9. So for those that don't know, let's quickly get up the ladder. We will share that for you guys at stage, and we'll actually get the ladder out. So We got the ladder out. Now, we're in 5 games. And we've got Melbourne on the same amount of games. Same amount of wins right now. They could be ahead of us by the end of the weekend. And Essendon and Sydney and Carlton 1 game ahead of us. So realistically, there is a chance a few of them could drop below us. Now, percentage-wise, it seems unlikely that we could get really above Sydney. So I think the worst case scenario would be a 12th finish. Worst case, jeez, that's where we're at this year. All right, and maybe it is worth doing a quick little predictor to see where we think we might finish, because there isn't a ton of games left. So let's see what's going on. Yeah, I know. That was the hope. That was the real hope. Now, let's quickly do the predictor, see where we might finish. Now, we've got the rest of the round. Where is it? There it is. All right, cool. So I'm going to say Sydney wins that. I'm going to say Adelaide wins that. And we're going to go to the next one. Then we go to this week. We've got Carlton, Brisbane. Give that to Brisbane. We're not going to do margins because screw it. Collingwood wins that. Melbourne probably. Brisbane wins that. Bulldogs win that. Cats will win that. Ooh, interesting. Fremantle will win that. And then let's go. No, it's too late. Bolter won't be playing. All right. And then let's go. Melbourne should be able to win that. We will 100% lose that. And then Port should win that. We're getting down to the final rounds. Jump in if you think I need to go back and change anything. Let me know. I'll check the chats. Traveling to Melbourne from Brisbane to watch us play Sydney. Let that be the win, please. Yeah, fair. I don't know if it will be. Well, forget about the curfew. Yeah. That's Bolter is quite required for Richmond to play. All right. Speaking of, Giants win that. Brisbane win that. Whoa, these things are annoying. Hawthorn wins that. Sydney wins that. Ooh. It'll be a good game for us. I think Melbourne win that. I think Carlton's on a death spiral now. And then is that Optus? I'm going to give that one to the Eagles. Now, what else do we have? We will 100% lose to Geelong in Geelong. And then, Collingwood win that. They win that. And then we are on to round 20. There we go. Now we got again. Hawthorn win. Doggies win. Giants should win that. Lions should win that. Yeah, Freo should win that. Geelong, Adelaide, Collingwood, and this one. This is going to be an important match. Because if we win that, we are in a potential position to fall or go above Carlton, which, look, not the worst thing, but iffy. I think we could win that match. I'm going to give it to Melbourne. I'm going to give it to us. And it'll kind of come down to percentage then. We've got North as well, which might be... Look, we might need a tank. Now that I'm thinking about it. All right, let's have a chat. All right, let's have a chat. We might need a tank. All right. I want to give you hope, man, but I'm going to be real. With the games coming up, we will want to We can't really get below North, can we? We'll probably want to lose to North, to be honest. Shit. Shit. Oh, this year, man. All right. So let's get this going because it's seeming like we might need to lose to North. They'll win that. They'll win that. They'll win that. They'll win that. Shit. Well, I'm gonna say we win that. But then yeah, we jump. So we need to lose that because otherwise we jump 2 spots. Or we need to lose to Melbourne. Shit. All right, let's finish this out. So only a couple of games left. Shit. All right. Oh no. Let's go back around because I don't think I ended with St Kilda winning. This isn't good. Now, you might not. Okay. This is going to come off weird. But yeah, I didn't think. Toby, what are you doing? I didn't think we'd jump that high if we won 2 games. Shit. Oh man, our first pick might be pick 15. Jake's mentioned this a few times, that when you go a little bit longer than when you planned on ending your stream and suddenly bad things happen. Shit. Yeah, this is exactly it. I remember saying this at the start of the year. I remember thinking like we had such a good run home. Damn. That might be the plan, bro. That might be the plan. I think that's a Dodson debut. Heath debut. Bring Boyd back in. Does McLennan want to play fullback while Wilkie has a rest? Shit. Shit. All right. Okay. New idea. We go get another player. Let's sell this first round pick. Give it off to somebody. Maybe they haven't figured out how bad it is yet. Oh, no. Fuck. Okay. We need a tag. I'm gonna be real. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. We're going back to this. I'm so angry. Oh no. I'm so angry. Oh no. Oh fuck. Oh no. This end of year would be so good if we were competing for the finals. Oh fuck. Honestly, maybe we do sell the first round. Like I'm just thinking, right? Because if it's pick 15, like maybe it's just not worth that much anyway. Like maybe we just sell it. Because like shit. The only other thing I was thinking is and I can't remember who mentioned this, but maybe if we get TDK. Oh, they don't have. No, they do. So we get TDK. Carlton get a first round pick. We give Carlton Marshall. We get Carlton's first round pick. What do we think? What do we think? All right, I'm gonna go with this. Don's beat us. Let's just say that happens. We're in trouble, boys. We're in trouble, ladies. Anybody in chat? We are in trouble. This is not good. I'm gonna say Gold Coast screws it for the Giants there. God, please, Carlton win that match. God damn. All right, so there's 3 teams we need to support going into the final rounds of this. Yeah. We need to support Melbourne. We need to support Essendon, and we need to support Carlton. All right. Yeah, this is the only plan I have. This is the only way I'm going to be happy. That would be super helpful if we could do that. So, like, if we could imagine generating a first round pick for yourself, that'd be so funny. Just by stealing a player from somebody else and then giving them your player. It's 4D chess. It is 4D chess. It's what we need to do to win a premiership here. I think, yes, Chris. I mean, it feels like what we've got to do. I mean, thank you, Devos. I think we're in agreement. Support teams we hate. Sell players we love. Overpay for other players. That's the plan, team. Break. I'm a little bit crashing out a little bit. Yeah, look. It would be pure comedy gold. Like, I'll be real. The chat between Tez and Pommy, if we managed to sell them Marshall for the pick that they got for TDK, that would be really, really funny. But I almost don't wish it on them. It'd be mean. Yeah, so there's a lot of academy picks this year. I can't even name them all. Like, there's a Max King. There's another Max King. He's going to Sydney. he's a midfielder. There's another Yuland that's going to the Suns. These will all be like top 10 picks, by the way. There's a few. There's quite a few. So yeah, there is a good chance that even if we finished, to be honest, all right, to be 100% clear, to get a good pick, West Coast is likely going to get pick 1 and 2. They will obviously finish last, giving them pick 1. They're going to lose Oscar Allen to the Lions, which will give them pick 2. There is some discussion that they might apply for a first round pick as well. If they get that, they get the first 3 picks of the draft. I don't think they'll get that this year. They might get a second rounder, but if they are again last next year, they will 100% get a bonus pick. Richmond has then got, I believe, 2 in a row. Yeah, there's Annabelle to the Lions. There's another Gold Coast dude or 2. Yeah, I'm sorry. Mate. Look, that's why we've got to play 4D chess, unfortunately. Yeah. There's no way to get on top of the league without absolutely using the rules to our advantage. there's a few players I think are going straight to Tassie. I don't know if you've heard how they're going to do things, but Tassie will essentially get the ability to pick players straight up if the player agrees. So we will have like a pool that we allocate that is untouchable. And I think part of that's just like our top paid. I think the top 50% of payers on our payroll are immediately locked away. And then I think we get to choose the other like 25% or the other like half. We get to pick which half we want to lock away as well. And then the other players have to agree to it if they want to move. So they get quite a big pool to pick from, players straight away. I have a sneaking suspicion that is half the reason that we have, what's his name, Showmaker, because there's a good chance he wants to go back to Tassie. We'll get something out of it. Yeah, I think we'll lose a couple of players to Tassie. I don't know who, but I would almost bet money that Showmaker is one of them. I think we will hold Steele. I don't think he's going anywhere. And yeah, the clubs get the pick. Yeah, they do. Clubs get the pick. It's very similar to what they did with the Suns, and I think it was the Suns, where the Suns could technically pick players, but yeah, it's slightly different. They haven't really released the rules on what they're going to do there yet, but I've heard like Mitch Cleary, a few other people talk about those rules, so it seems like they're fairly set in stone. But look, we're getting towards the end of it. I've gone about a half an hour longer than I expected to. I do think we are hiding players for a few years. But yeah, I think it's look, in terms of what we've reviewed today, I think we've done well today, but like just general usage let us down, which has been a consistent problem for a while now. Like even when we were rebound footy under Rats, like we couldn't get it inside 50 well. So a little bit of same olds. Thankfully, it isn't by the same olds. A lot of it was by kids that could develop into much better players longer term. So silver lining is there. Not the night we wanted though, either way. Well, thank you all for coming along. It has been an issue since Richo. There was some frustrations tonight, that was for sure. Thanks, guys. Come past Anytime event. I will be chucking a lot of things in the chat going forward. I'll try and put more links up. Always happy to just speak my mind and hear your comments. But if you ever do want to come and chat, feel free. We will wrap it up this time. It's not one. It's 12:30 now. I've done this for an hour and a half. Longest one yet. Funnest one yet. You guys have been great. And it'll be similar time next week, about an hour after the match. So feel free to come back, say hello, that sort of thing. I believe Jake has put out his contents so after the match, so go have a look at that. And also suggest go have a look at the presser. I'm going to do that myself. I'm not sure if that's coming out yet, but it should be coming out very shortly. Either way, thank you all for coming past. I'll talk to you next week and keep an eye out for the SaintsTV video. And cheers.